Chinese diaspora is said to be the 25th largest country in the world, who, according to the Nikkei Asian Review, own assets worth 2.5 trillion United States dollars. When foreign companies in the late 1970s reduced their investments in China, it was the Chinese diaspora that shored up the economy. According to the Washington, D.C.-based Migration Policy Institute, MPI, half of the foreign direct investment, that is some 26 billion United States dollars, that transformed China into a manufacturing powerhouse in the 1990s, originated from the Chinese diaspora. That is the rationale of Ghana's initiative of Beyond the Return, which is building on the considerable success of the Year of Return and the renewed enthusiasm around building Africa together. We must work to help change the African narrative, which has been characterized largely by a concentration on disease, hunger, poverty, and illegal mass migration. Let us all remember that the destiny of all Black people, no matter where they are in the world, is bound up with Africa. We should never forget that famous admonition of the celebrated Jamaican reggae star Peter Tosh, when he said, and I quote, "Don't care where you come from. As long as you are a Black man, you are an African," unquote. We must help make Africa the place for investment, progress, and prosperity, and not from where our youth flee in the hope of accessing the mirage of a better life in Europe, Asia, or the Americas.
Na eremu eko asante hene His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei the second Odiefutu ama nanana hemfo wo my Ghana mu se oyo hene na etu galamsey wo mpata mu na se wonim hu bia o se oba bonten na obeka na Ghana fo nyina hu se ampa wonka hu bi ne mu se trans na ye hu a ye se opani a wotra fie man kwadare na nka no se ye ka na nkwawefo a ye bunu ka hu ebi ni se trans ye hu na etu galamsey wo mpata mu a na se de ekoso no wonim hu ebi
am saying no de nananom ye nyina ye beka se ni tumi na mum se o te wo important ba bi asase wo na ahweso na so te wo na so obi di bone wo ho a wo ka chem se wo ni tumi so de ka mampo yin nka bi ye mfa permit nko o mo nka so wompre eti wo tem amanse ho na so obi tu galamse na ka chem se wo de wo ni hu tumi asase no senya galamse no obi akoso no okofa za nko aka ntankese en ga za kwatwitio unkratuo unkrobe na mum wo so ye ho no no asase ne ye di bone wo ho no na so be report ayen so ye be frere minister za nkrophobia tu galamse ti ko mon ko stop ye na ye kotu go takunda ma ya bro sika kakra na Chinese for ne ba mo mahimfie ne densa na yi brem na mo gidia wo nko awoyam na aye no man no takunda ma wo de bro nti won sense you no on say asase man po here cast one prin some minerals commission person ye was so ba no mbeta so no kire kwankrom de be ya ye nkose ni nsuo sa na kuma wunso betu aka se krata na de aba mempre je some minerals commission aba ba ka chim kwankrom be ya won nkose mi nsuo anan utu abeda na wakata so ansa na so be pram na ya wam na ye asase no wo hwe so se be kwa hene wo hwe so se be mampo hene wo hwe so se no so obi aba so betu galamse nya na apren ya etiende woni tumi so oka abra so ne kuntanse he bo hye no trabam dia zeze am so tum fontan kase kase wa ba masase so wa bi wo asase so bi awon so ka ho ne nya na aban yenso ye ka ho wo mu dampa wo mu de wo mu bo ekro no ye din semfunu de ne yenso ye nye de ma aban ho se yenso ye ne abrenti de o tro krata na ma obi ba ya asase no ye mprem o ma na za aban de tuo be ba be kuan wo me kuan mi hu so ezansa ade ekro no Bronika sem environment no and they are sabre yes COP 27 ni pay to kwa Egypt no koka abode ne ayi no sabre ne enso ye ne yesay ensase ne yensuo nyina ne ya trawa so antuma se nananom ensase no so ye dia no obi aba ho awo se ensuo no e de na aka no krani next year wo se ehunu wo hin bia galamse wo na asase do wo se e friend bebusa se date no ote wo amana ba no ohunu ye ne ye ba ne nyamane a wo kwa obekwa akohwe oyi first one kejetia One I register woman and was saying a lot space my woman came for Eddie Bonipi. Because figures, started with 1,050, but do 1,400. Now shops and so a woman yen hono bebre. Natures and relocate KJT for New Year. Now Kumasi Central Markets almost near register about 6,000 something no cohort. And ka trouble be any or copincy besi we area. Says they are musi way the MSO morning cohon. Woman register woman for not to do my register woman. Won't making sure say woman come and son will be able to be a movie our tambo. But Baconos Anna Nanya Man Casa or home ye many. But Crawford register woman you won't deem from near Tom Man Crawford. Oh dear me Judy Tina make a show. Ujama won't cross for what came and numbers are good, man. Nemo and their body are makers as their modium and munchem, copins and me who listen on a woman never order that you are located to be at the Aman and Sana said the people will be there.
Enchebia NDC amanyo kuono eba betu aba yimpenyufo national executive sa omubedi amanyo kuono enim ewa fimpinu ni eduonu nan abatu enim na empenyufo aba nan akwa akopie mu ewo biaye abatu no ebekoso ede omani akwa akohwe se de ahoboa ho nsem ekro na ekuono kasamafo lawyer Sami Jemfi ekre na adwen efa ho.
We have invited you here this afternoon to brief you about final arrangements for the 10th Delegates Congress of the Great National Democratic Congress, which will come off as scheduled at this very venue, the Passport Studio, on Saturday, the 17th of December 2022. We are having this interaction because of the respect and the cordial relationship and collaboration we have enjoyed with you, our friends in the media, over the years. As you may be aware, a press release was issued by the Publicity Committee inviting applications for media accreditation for this Congress. We have so far received over 100 applications. That involves over 1,100 personnel, but we are unable to grant all the applications, and so we are going to be working with the quota system. We want all media houses who have applied for accreditation to note that tomorrow 4 p.m. all accreditation tags will be ready for pickup at this very venue, the first floor of the VIP section where we came from. And so media houses can send their contact persons to come and pick up the accreditation.
Na edeni chemu ewo Professor Godfred Bokpin, one economist or sounds a professor of finance ewo University of Ghana Business School. Openikesi edi atudwa achese ahochira Ghana this year enam mu no IMF sika eba no eno nko antimi nyi Ghana for emfiri mu ehun be hia sa aban ere nhye papa ba ebe Ghana for efiri ahochira enam no emu.
And when you are managing the economy, it's not so much about the technical economy, it's about the expectation. You have to be able to anchor expectation along a certain direction, and it's good for the economy. Because in August, the cedi lost more than 20% of its assigned value, purely on speculative. Okay, purely on speculative. So now that a lot of uncertainty has been dealt with, there's some kind of stability. And people also didn't understand that staff level agreement is not the same as a program. So they were actually asking the mission chief, when would the money reflect? All of that contributed to the sharp recovery. Because people thought that with the staff level agreement, the $3 billion is going to come like next week. What we have seen is good, which means that the system is reacting to the changes. Okay, if the cedi had continued depreciating, even with the announcement of the staff level agreement, then what next would we do? Unless we ask the president to resign. You understand that? But to the extent that these little things are contributing to the recovery is good. We need to strengthen that. We need to build on that. But what we should all know is that IMF program is insufficient to address Ghana's problems. And that if we want to come out of this comprehensively and sustainably, we need to initiate governance reforms. Ghana's problem is more governance, and that is what contributes to the economic mess. To do so, we all must come on board and make sure that the right reforms, because there are some things IMF will know, but it doesn't lie within them to do. IMF will not ask the government to reduce the size of government. They won't. If they care enough, they will do it, right? But we all need to, because now the price we are paying for correcting all this mess is becoming too much now. And that is why pension is being discussed at a time like this. That's the last thing anybody will even contemplate. Pension, you don't dream of touching it. But you see, that is where Ghana has gotten to. The next thing, when pension is no more, what would we be focusing on in addressing our mess?
Engineer Charles Kreku ene panyin kwankyerefo a woda Civil Aviation Authority mpanyinfo a omohwe wiemuhyen ho nsenkaye ewo man Ghana mu na wo panyin de atodwa so omo de afidie bia ba sa afidie no ba behwe wiemuhyen ho akwantu ho bambonsem ewo Ghana tifi enafei anafo fem.
Sani abena wiemuhyen dwumadie betima fa ntoma pa edi afira ewo man Ghana mu entie no panyin kwankyerefo da Civil Aviation Authority ano Engineer Charles Kreku wa bra UTV kasebo yene ne twetwe nkomo no na wo kyire mu a na tene na bɔ no homɔden afidie bɛboa se na bɛ na wiemu hyɛn akɔ ne abadie betima ajojo potoka sem no feni radar system no wadua mienu baako ɛwɔ tivido fam ɛna baako ɛwɔ na afofo mu ɔde ba bɛboa na wiemu hyɛn dwumadie atimi ayɛ asomdwie na wo kyire mu so sɛ wiemu hyɛn boa kɔsoro wɔ ne mpenifo gunkonyasie so a ɔhwɛ ho nsɛm kae no watimi ate so
radar system no yɛwɔ in our operations yɛwɔ 3 areas are communication, navigation, and surveillance. Now, surveillance, or trader say aircraft no human, air traffic controller no or say equipment nature no bohun aircraft in don't them so that it avoids a issue of collision. And the radar no what tamaleno on my air traffic controller visual image of the aircraft in the air into on pilot no communicator about to my trend there for her now avoid the collision. And see, I installed Crow Tamale. In fact, I know harder that, but it was an old replacing. I installed new ones for Accra. See, I installed Crow Kumasi. Now Kumasi now will serve as a backup. Tamale in northern sector. Now Accra in the southern sector, including the ocean. Nti Tamale Kumasi didn't backup in case Tamale didn't offer. Kumasi will serve it. Accra didn't also offer. Kumasi will serve it. Into a backup, into the whole airspace, Accra flight information area will be covered by the surveillance equipment. Into that's so that it will improve safety in our airspace. Although improve on competition. If there's competition amongst the airlines, it will drive down the cost. And also, as the regulator, no, or there any airlines, no, it's not from new one cost build up. Now, so we be able to my na anyone can so that the prices will come down.
Observe to answer so now call Ora Bright Simons honorary vice president Imani Ghana on a peninsula Australia in Himu afa ketase proye ne dream ho e wo mamu na asa Ghana for do na abey say 85% e na omu chese omu nigidie e wa ban a eti akonwan so se ba no ketase proye dream a aban ebetumi akon
yakuru dwumadi a gempasu apon no woni adwuma ko be free jama abrochimamu cars ade hye so na se no e na opanyina be de akira a woda Imani Ghana ano Ura Bright Simons wakasa na odi tudwa so na Ghana for do na ehwetwe nkoma emu wa hamu chichimu de wotwe num de osusu se e baketa ahye jirim ne kro no anya de aban no ebo no homoden kra.
Ghana has declined somewhat, but it's not dramatic. So around 2014, I believe, we reached the apex of our performance on this index. And we are about 63rd in the world, and now we are around 74th. So not too bad, somewhat stagnant. And that makes it interesting then to look rather at how domestic ordinary people perceive the problem. And the reason why I bring that up is because Transparency International is primarily focused on stakeholders. So there are people that have a lot more insight, business people, people that are expected to be encountering corruption a lot more. And the Afrobarometer, on the other hand, focuses on the ordinary person. So you can see that distinction in terms of the degree to which things have gotten worse when you look at Afrobarometer. And you see here, we've seen a situation where 30% of people, only 30% of people thought that the government was doing very badly when it came to handling corruption, just in 2017. And in 5 short years, that number has gone up to 85%. 85% of Ghanaians think the authorities are not doing very well when it comes to fighting corruption. So that's a massive degeneration, which is not reflected in Transparency International, and perhaps, in a way, demonstrate the gap between elites and masses.
And the Kokra no and opinion of that game Persiapono, Anosa Rector, Professor Samuel Kokubunsu, Onosukasan, which in Masena Catasisia Costro, my Ganemono, Semabruna Sorwaka, now one can't find your mina, and a bedroom tribunal, Ubina Betundumpi.
It was a Mabuno Yen and I had who say, Cronian idea. And Yenny Paba Codia, a sayer, a cayena. It means so bon by a boy in until no young come near more chrono by Sebea betum pong, now my yenano, yet me a coyenim. And so ya kitties, yes, so ya a brantier, so ya a bestriwa, yenina no cronedia. And this year dicatas, shene proyenia, dear nebetna cream, I just encosi my yenina. And Chiriman so ya tiasi, ebe ya maya nananum, or munina beba ye pese crew on beba betuno. A ye chain dear, yan ye betuye, ye chira ye bijano. I was a ye, a chain dear betuye. And Teosi a kind home, near ye kekayan, ye can boom. Near to me, there was ye be a near ye catas, any proyena where you crumhano a free ho. Send ye a kind yint me in free ho crown, so I was a coffin. And ye, I don't say ye, yen so ye be to me.
Ye be na we so near who make us your bonus by your bar, ye better drink.